Community Development. Oh, okay. The Hāmākua Community Development Plan Action Committee meeting will now come to order. It is Wednesday, February 4th, and the time is 5:02 p.m. This meeting is held in person and by interactive conference technology. The meeting will be recorded on Zoom and uploaded to the Planning Department's YouTube channel. As a reminder, per Sunshine Law, AC members appearing remotely must keep their cameras on and announce anyone who is with them, except for minors in their location.
Aloha. Sorry we're late.
It's okay. Please note, for anyone needing the meeting packet, there's a QR code on the last page of the agenda that you can scan to access it. Roll call and introductions. Interim Vice Chair Brad Kurokawa.
Here.
Committee Member Robert Nishimoto.
Here.
Committee Member Ton Keeney.
Here.
Committee Member Ben Dalawidao.
Right here, present.
Committee Member Maile Lavea Maloy.
Maloy. Ew.
Maloy. Okay, Kalamay. And I am Chair Mahialani Maikui. We have a quorum to hold this meeting. County staff, Planning Department, Mariam Palma, Jessica Lahip, and Janice Hata. Janice is on Zoom. Okay, just some housekeeping. Please make sure your cell phones are turned off or on silent mode. If there is anyone here who would like to testify, please fill out the sign up form and give it to any one of us sitting up here. Zoom testifiers can send a message in the chat to the Zoom host indicating which item they wish to testify on. We ask that everyone please state your name clearly before speaking. To all of us who are attending here in person, please remember to speak towards the owl. That's the owl right there. So everyone on Zoom can hear. Aloha etiquette is practiced for today's meeting. Maintain an open and positive attitude. Listen to understand. Everyone has a right to share and be comfortable with their ideas. It's okay to disagree as long as it is done respectfully. If you need to argue, argue the issue and not against the person. One person speaks at a time with no side conversations. Limit distractions by turning cell phones off and not doing outside work during the meeting, and in appreciation of everyone's time, please honor time limits. Okay, do we have minutes to? Okay. The time is 5:05 p.m. The committee will now consider approving the draft minutes from December 3rd, 2025 meeting.
I'd like to approve the minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Ton first, Uncle Brad second. The meeting minutes is as circulated. Is there a second? Yeah. Sorry guys, this is my first time, okay? I would like to move to approve the minutes with the following. Oh, no corrections. Oh, are there any corrections to be made? No, okay. Okay. So I would like to approve the minutes from December 3rd, 2025 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 You got them? Okay. All those opposed? Okay, passed. And then now we're gonna move to public testimony on any agenda items. It is now 5:07 p.m. The committee will now call for statements from the public. As stated in the published agenda, members of the public may provide public testimony regarding any agenda item now or at the time the agenda item is called to order. If there is anyone here who would like to testify, please fill out this form that's on the back table. And give it to one of us. Anybody? No testifiers? Any testifiers on Zoom?
Yes,
Yes,
Chair.
yes, there is. My name is Jim McMahon, along with Li-Jing Wong. We're on Zoom, and we like to testify when item number 2 is presented.
Okay. Can you remind me?
I
might
will.
get
Thanks.
so caught up here, you know. Okay, cool. Okay, I guess we move to business, huh? Okay. So it is now 5:08. The committee will now move on to business item number 1, proposed Hawaii Department of Transportation update on roadway safety at Hakalau Bridge repairs. Hawaii DOT will provide an update on roadway safety concerns along Hawaii Belt Road on the Hāmākua coast, including the status of repairs on the Hakalau Bridge discussion and potential action to follow. Are they here?
Aloha, everyone.
Oh, they're him. Aloha.
You guys can hear me?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, Clifford Corpus, State Highways, DOT. I oversee the construction section. So I guess first thing I can talk about these dips that's along Hāmākua coast on Route 19. So at the moment, we're repairing these dips along Route 19 from mile marker 4 to about mile marker 15. There's about 8 locations. Right now, we're about at mile marker 12.5. It'll take about up to the end of February to complete these repairs. There's 2 locations, however, that might need or will need permanent repairs, which will be at mile marker 4, which is at the Hilo Scenic Point, and mile marker 14.8. We'll need geotechnical, I guess, evaluations. It'll take about 4 to 6 months for that to happen and for us to receive a permanent repair for those 2 locations. And the permanent repair will follow after that. Did anybody have any questions regarding these dips?
Clifford.
Hey.
Yeah, Clifford, this is Brad Kurkal. So
Hi,
yeah, I live out by Hakalau, so I drive that every day. So which ones are you saying gonna take more time for what? They're gonna have a recommendation, geotech recommend?
Yes.
That's for the one by the Honolulu Bridge.
At Hilo Scenic Point.
Oh,
And
Scenic Point.
Yeah, Hilo Scenic Point. Yep. So
And
there's
then
these.
what's
So the second location is at mile marker 14.8 or 14.9 in that area.
Is that the one close to the Hakalau pedestrian overpass?
Yeah. Because Hakalau is 15 or 16.
Right before, yeah. Right
Yeah.
before.
Right before,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think currently there's these longitudinal cracks on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so those, yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
So we'll need more in-depth geotechnical evaluations, investigations in that area. So that'll take time for those 2 areas.
Do you guys have somebody are already in the talks with somebody or proposals for the geotechnical study?
So we hired geolabs from Oahu who's doing it.
Okay.
I'm still waiting on a schedule from them as far as specific tasks and milestones.
So Clifford, does that mean you're gonna have to hire the geotech consultant and then get a contract with them and then have them do a report and then the solution and then gotta go out to bid?
No, actually, we're just gonna take care of it within this emergency proclamation.
Oh, okay.
Proclamation, yeah. So we declared an emergency on December 15th, and so we're just gonna go that route.
I see. So expedited then.
Correct. Yes.
But those two will still take how many months?
6.
Hard to say. So yeah, it's 4 to 6 to get this report and
do the construction.
No, so the construction will follow. Yeah. So I guess it depends what they find out as far as their investigation. It'll depend. Yeah, it'll be dependent on that, on how long or extensive this permanent repair need to be.
Yeah, because you guys have done historically, you guys have done several repairs on that already, right?
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Those were like real minor, like overlay type repairs, but in this case, we're actually going down and building the road back up. Yeah. So we're going down like 20 inches, and then we're just building it back up from scratch.
I see.
Yeah, my question is, how come we're just doing this repair now? Because I believe those issues has been
That's
there.
what? Oh, that, yeah.
Sorry. It's been there for a while. So I'm just curious, why are we, it's only now that we're trying to take action. That's my question.
Yeah, no, I understand. So, yeah, some of these dips were out there for over a year. In the meantime, we were trying to monitor it. We tried filling it in the meantime, but it was just getting worse. So, that's kind of it was like a progressive type of action. We didn't want to just declare it an emergency from the get-go. So, yeah.
It was getting dangerous. That's why, Ben.
Yeah.
When people are speeding, it's like, oh, wicked.
It's getting worse.
Yeah. Yeah, the Hāmākua Falls one. We're gonna hit that next.
Yeah, that one's pretty severe too.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, like people have to slow down and stuff like that, but who's liable because the road is not fixed, but who's liable should an accident or something tragic happen?
Also, I mean, the state owns the road, so it would fall on us.
Okay. Do you guys, anybody else have Uncle Bobby?
Clifford, you gonna address Hākala Bridge next?
Okay.
No, I because I have a kind of a question on an obtuse question.
Okay.
Like Brad, I live in Hāmākua also, and I know this crew, the traffic direction crew, it's unbelievable. You don't know whether they have to go or stop. A lot of them hide under shady areas. You can't see a thing. I have glaucoma. I have a hard time seeing, and the stop and the yield sign are just about similar in color because they're faded. You like to, you don't want to run over that guy that signals traffic control, but some of them just sit there looking at the telephone, under the shade. So do you can you improve that kind of do these people take classes? Because there's no standard of stop and go. Or maybe change to something brighter, like with flashing lights, or red is red and green, and don't get, because this, you look at the signs, it's pathetic. You can't tell between yellow and red. It's basically similar. So can you kind of address that issue? Because it's frustrating for a lot of people. They want to respect the traffic folks control, but there's absolutely no standard.
Yeah, so the traffic control personnel we have out there, we did this. We confirmed that that they took classes and certified. So and they should be following a standard. We follow. We have our specification at HDOT, and we also follow the MUTCD that is a national standard. But no, thank you for the feedback. So
I know what you're trying to do. I'm trying to improve the public's perception of stop or go. Yeah. So instead, if you get a chance, probably because of my age and eyesight, but the stop and the yield is almost similar in color.
you talk about the stop and slow paddle.
Yeah, exactly. And some of them sit in the shade. I don't blame them. You can't see a thing. Yeah, and it's not only this job. There are many other jobs too with other companies. And maybe that's going to help, because we make amends and appreciate that effort. It takes a lot of effort. This job now is we're kind of happy because the traffic flow is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can somehow address that issue, and that, along with with my age and with some of my visual challenges, even night driving, I don't drive anymore because all those reflectors on the side of the road constantly go missing, especially after state highway go and cleans those rubbish. With the front hoe, you guys go and clean all those rubbish.
Yeah.
And what happens is, in those rubbish, all those reflectors are in there. They just scrape them clean. So, is there any point where you can put those back? Because they are really for traffic safety issues.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I've noticed wherever you see those missing, especially on the curbside, that's usually where they just cut the trees. They just scrape them all up without any disregard. Yeah. So if you can somehow mitigate it, I understand your challenges, but that would help driving. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback. Yeah, actually, you did talk to our maintenance section about that. So they are aware.
Okay, thank you very much.
As far as the Hakalau Bridge, so sorry, I apologize. This is the first time actually seeing this agenda, so I don't actually have specific dates that I can give you guys. As far as the Hakalau Bridge, we just completed a project fixing the foundation of one of the bends. We call it bends of the bridge. So the next step, the next project for Hakalau is going to be a lead remediation. That project is, I believe it's out to bid, or it got bid out. I apologize though, but I can report back later on exactly what the status is on that. So after that Hakalau lead remediation project, then it'll go into the bridge rehabilitation, which they'll fix the entire substructure of the bridge. So that's fixing the substructure of the bridge, which is below the deck. Right now, I have a construction date of fall 2027. Right now, I have a estimated project for that. It's 56 million. So, yeah.
So Clifford, the lead mitigation, that's for the community park underneath the bridge drop zone right below that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any idea of how long that will take?
shoot, I don't have the
Okay.
plans on me, but I can
Yeah.
report back to you guys
Okay,
on
that'd
that
be
for
great.
sure.
That'd
Yeah.
be great.
Okay, wait, so what did you guys do then at the Hakalau Bridge? If
So
you
on the
guys,
bottom, one of the foundation was scouring the concrete foundation. It was undermining, I guess, underneath the river. And
okay,
so we filled it with grout. So that
In
that
the
was
water,
basically
yeah.
in the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
So it was a pretty small project, but that was just the first step to get to this rehabilitation project that's coming up in 2027.
Okay. We do have a testifier. I'm gonna put on my glasses. Tom Frattanardo.
Can you see me? Can they?
I don't know
My
if
name
they
is-
can hear you though.
Thank you.
Oh, there. She's.
Okay. Hi, my name is Tom Frattanardo. Aloha.
Aloha.
My question's about traffic safety. I'm a retired Hawaii County police officer. Very proactive in my job when I was a police officer in South Kohala. So I've been calling Antoinette Masuda, the Hilo state engineer, for years about the dips. And it's probably, I'm one of the people that probably complained to her consistently about those dips as it got worse and worse and worse. But now I have a question about the bridge preceding Kolikoli Beach Park. That is Hakalau Bridge.
Yep.
So will there ever be any pedestrian walkways along that bridge anymore? Because they were removed when, and the bridge still appears like the top half is still under construction. So just preceding Kolikoli Bridge coming from Waimea direction. That's the bridge I'm referring to. And there are no sidewalks on the bridge. The sidewalks were closed because of construction.
Let me check what bridge is that exactly, and I can
Yeah, it's the
provide
bridge
an answer.
The bridge just before the turnoff going into Kolikoli Beach Park.
Cliff, that's Kolikoli Bridge.
Locally bridge, yeah.
Go Kolikoli Bridge. Okay.
Okay.
So my name is Rob Lee. I'm in Department of Transportation, project manager, same office from Cliff. The Kolikoli Bridge project was an emergency project to reinforce the bridge temporarily, so we can build a new structure again. So with that design of the temporary supports, there is not a safe passageway for pedestrians, and that's why we have signs up there that says the sidewalk is closed. But when we do the new bridge, we'll reinstall back the pedestrian access ways on both sides of the bridge, if that's your question.
Yes, and is there an estimate as far as when that construction might resume?
Yeah,
So
I think Cliff, go ahead, tell them the
I
year.
have it. So the latest is summer 2027. That's what I have right now.
And,
Construction.
Thank you. And one last question, so I don't have to be pestering the Hilo engineer, Antoinette Masuda. Is there a form that an individual can fill out with a traffic concern? Or like in the old days when I was a police officer, they'd call dispatch, assign an officer, the officer would fill out this form that's generated through the police department. And it's called a beat condition form. We route them to the Public Works County, and the county would route them to the state highway engineer. But is there another form that I could actually go pick up at the office in Hilo or go online and fill out if I have a traffic concern?
There's not a specific form for our district, but you could come to our office or you could just call it in, and then we'll log it in on our end.
Okay, so no official document that I would fill out, sign and say here is record of it.
No, not that I know of.
I'll talk to Matthias Kush about that. I appreciate you guys coming out and talking to us tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else has any questions?
Yes. My question is, I put up this issue about safety issue about waiting shed for these people working in Waikoloa. This has been presented, and up to now, this is long time ago already. People are waiting there with the bus, and there's no shed, and they get wet, they get sick. They have to work 8 hours, sometimes they go back when coming home. The bus is run down the middle of the highway. 4 times I have to pick up my girlfriend to bail her up at that place. But again, my issue is, I don't know why, but this is something that I would like to read a quick email for Zach Bergam. He's the mass transit in charge, or anyway. One of this goals is it should be completed at the end of this year, last year. This is dated November 18. Okay, and the issue here, it should be end of last year, and up to now it's already end of February already, and it's still not there. And there, up to now, it's not there yet. This is right there on highway territory. From Papaico, Pepequeo, those people are waiting for their waiting shed. I already presented this issue a long time ago.
Do you remember when?
This is the time when
When you first
met.
started?
Yeah. My girlfriend's been waiting for the bus for 25 years. And imagine, put yourself on their shoes. That's why I noticed that. That's why I presented this issue to the territorial proper personnel. And so up to now, I don't know what's going on. It looks like there's some discrimination here or da-da-da-da, but that's my issue. I presented this a long time ago, and up to now, it's not being done.
So my question, this is Rob Lee from DOT again. My question is, your question being addressed to state highways, or your question is being addressed to County of Hawaii?
Well, it's state of Hawaii, because that's highway. People are waiting right there in the pinky stop, that area, and there's no shed there. And in Papequeo, they were waiting on the side there. There's no waiting shed there. And there's
Right.
a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me explain. The County Mass Transit manages the buses. The County Mass Transit manages all these shelters. So that question has to be taken to the County of Hawaii Mass Transit. We do not manage the County Mass Transit facilities. That's under the county, which they put it in our right of way. Okay. So anything to do with the bus stops and stuff, you have to direct your issues or concerns with the County Mass Transit. Do I make myself clear on that part?
Yes, mahalo. And
Thank
that
you.
was like off of our topic of number
Okay.
one. So getting everybody back to the proposed Hawaii Department of DOT update on the roadway safety and Hakalau Bridge. We don't have any votes to put through. This was just informational. Anybody else wanted to testify? No? Okay. Mahalo, Rob Lee and Clifford Corpus for your updates. We appreciate that.
Mahalo. Thank you.
Yeah, please update us with the information that was requested for those dips.
The dates, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Will do. Thanks.
Mahalo.
thank you.
Okay, moving on to number 2. Proposed letter regarding request for information on special permit process. The AC will discuss and consider submitting a letter regarding planning department's special permit process, potential action to follow. Who's taking this one, Uncle Brad or Mario?
Well, we have a draft letter.
Yeah,
I
she's
don't
pulling
know.
it up.
Okay, great. And I
Um,
know that we have some people that want to testify.
Yeah. Can I get you guys permission to just shut off the light so we can read it better?
And if there's anybody wanting to give testimony at the beginning of this item? Anybody on Zoom?
Oh, there you go. Now you can
Wow,
see
we can
them.
see way better.
Yeah, there's again Jim McMahon here with my wife. Oops.
You can go ahead.
Hi, Jim. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can testify now or after if there's a presentation by Brad or anyone else. I just want to make sure I understand the context of what's being proposed in the special permit, kind of what's driving the this item on the agenda, if that's
Yeah,
possible.
Jim. Yeah, Jim.
Yeah.
I think the what it is I know that you're part of that contested case for the Tepe Mountain special permit, but it's gonna come up again. We know that, and so that's why I brought together. I'm trying to bring a closer, more focused look at the whole special permit process, which is pretty much at the discretion of the planning director, and then there are specifics, which I know that that pertain to your situation, but we also have the same owner purchasing 800 plus acres up here in right down the road from where you live. And so, and again, not to single them out in particular, but the issue of special permits, the process, and the criteria and the rigor of how it's applied and enforced is something that I think is going to be county-wide, if not statewide, because we have a lot of wealthy landowners that have big parcels, and sometimes they come here and think that they can do whatever the hell they want just because they own it. But I think the process discussion could probably contribute towards bringing to attention not only the special permit process, but also more awareness of these types of regulatory issues and how they affect our community, not just in Hāmākua, but island-wide. But it is happening right here in our district for whatever reason. So yeah, so that's the background. And I think it would be very helpful for the community to hear some of the things that you have brought up in some of your testimony and experience.
Okay, sure. Yes, so again, thanks for inviting us, actually. Yeah, we'll, I guess, give everyone first, I guess, a little bit of a background about our story before we get into a little bit of details. My name is again, Jim McMahon, and I'm here with my wife, Li-Jing Wong. We own and operate a farm just north of Papaiko, which, if you know the area, we're just off of Indian Tree Road. So we have a farm, which runs Mauka of the Belt Road, and we have just along Indian Tree Road. We've above us there are several additional parcels located even Mauka of us, and one of these parcels is a 1,400-acre ranch that is owned by a person named Mr. Andrew Tepper, who you mentioned, who also has just recently purchased another 800 acres off Chinchuk Road. He actually owns several parcels above us. I think he owns something around probably now over 15,000 acres combined, which probably, makes him, if at least one of the largest, if not the largest private landowner in our district. I mean, maybe the schools, the Kamehameha schools, Possibly Parker Ranch, depending on how where the district boundaries are, may have more land, but he is definitely up there as far as the holdings are concerned. He's based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he visits periodically. Maybe he'll be visiting more since he's purchased his Hākālau property. The issue with him is that beginning in 2023 and continuing for the last 3 years, he's been hosting a festival on his ranch called Falls on Fire. This is self-described, I guess, as a kind of 4-day-long Burning Man style event. I don't know if everyone's heard about Burning Man. It's a very the famous Burning Man is a week-long, a very large annual event which takes place in a remote Nevada desert on public land, as a Bureau of Land Management land.
Jim,
Yes, go
Jim,
ahead.
excuse me. You're like every 3 words is being deleted, so you sound like a robot.
Oh darn. Okay. Okay.
That's better. Or like, leave your mic on and shut off your camera, or I don't know how
maybe
else.
maybe I'll temporarily disable the video and just see if that works.
Okay.
Is that better so
Yeah.
far?
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully you got the gist of who Mr. Tepper is and a little bit of what the Falls on Fire is. Basically, it's the Falls on Fire is or Burning Man, or I guess they're kind of described as basically it's a community, organized community of activities, right? So you have a bunch of people who camp for multiple days, and each of the camps kind of organize whatever activities they like to have, right? It could be music, it could be entertainment, it could be whatever, right? There's really no script to a lot of these. But it also has a lot of community activities in terms of music and entertainment. It's kind of like a big music festival with other entertainment, and the other caveat is that it's not restricted in like just day only. It's basically all night long, so it's basically a 4-day 4-night all day party, with camping and pretty much a lot of different activities. At the end of the event, there's this famous effigy burning that takes place, right? They usually burn down an effigy that was, usually that's where the Burning Man comes from. Some sort of wooden structure, typically, that is, built during the event and then destroyed basically at the end of the event. How's the sound quality so far?
Okay.
Is it okay? Okay.
Yeah, you want to wrap it up?
Okay, I'll try to get through as much as I can, but yeah, basically, the moment the festival has about 500 attendees, but and the permit applications for about 500, but it's hard to control some of these events.
The regulation, right? Okay.
Right.
We spoke about this one, what, a month or 2 ago? So this letter that's up here is using Tepe Mountain LLC as an example, right? Because what the community is saying is that there's traffic going up and down. They're worried about water issues. Where is everybody using the bathroom if there's 500 plus people? The noise that that's like not, they're not being kind neighbors. So this is addressing how they got their special use permit, or changing language on the special use permit, Uncle Brad?
Well, I think, yeah, like in the letter, basically, I just have questions and want to have a closer look at the special provision, special permit process. And in this case, I'd like to really know what the criteria is, because there are things, and I don't think Jim has really sort of laid into the the impacts on the.
Wait, Uncle, you're doing the blah, blah, blah. Is it our internet?
I
Is
don't
it our
know.
internet? Okay.
Let me.
It worked for Jim to turn off his camera.
Okay, let me do that then. Okay.
Wait, he's AC though. Can he do that?
I'll do it for a
He's
little
AC.
while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have to come back on?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I think, like there are impacts that I think that I kind of question some of the rationale behind granting the permit from the commercial heavy equipment rental yard that comes through all these. It's a private road. The access is a private road, so that's even more impactful than if it was a public highway, because you can't really complain, right? And then just the adjacencies of the impacts on those members of this community, and then also the rationale for that, and then just the enforcement of some of the regulations in terms of noise and traffic impacts, environmental impacts, because going to have a whole bunch of people enjoying our streams, and water goes downhill and ends up down in our
Right.
ocean.
Right.
Yeah, and so all of those types of things, and I didn't really see any kind of rigorous background in the report that granted the special permit, besides just saying, oh, you just got to comply to all the Department of Health or regulations that the state has. And it's in a very large ag parcel, and then some of the rationale was using just because it's the small area that they're going to be camping on, relative to the size of the entire parcel. It's not a good rationale for. I didn't think it was very strong rationale, especially if you're going to have these large landowners. But there's still impacts that, because it impacts the neighbors
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
particular
Brad,
area.
if I might chime in here, I mean, a
Yeah,
lot
go
of
ahead.
this, this is, you have these people, these wealthy landowners, they can afford to hire consultants, land planning consultants, and that's what they use. These land planning consultants know exactly what to say and not to say, in order to get a special permit like this approved or get past the planning department or the Windward Planning Commission. Now, to be fair to them, I mean, this whole process, it is a very small fee, right? That they charge for the special permit process. I think the planning department is probably only $200, right? So they're dependent heavily on what information they receive from the applicant. In this case, being prepared by the planning consultant, right? So the planning consultant puts together the package, and the planning department really has limited resources to to verify the accuracy and the completeness of the information they're provided. That's to be fair, right? I mean, they're only getting $200. If I was to compare this to Burning Man, Nevada, the Burning Man, Nevada, as a comparison, it's a much larger event, but the permits alone total about $3 million a year per year just for the permitting process of the Burning Man in Nevada. We're charging, or the county is charging, $200 for a permanent perpetual permit. So it's quite a difference. And not only that, they're also combining two uses in one application, right? That's what they really bothers us, is the fact that they're putting putting both.
Okay. Excuse me. We're going off in like separate directions right now. For the sake of everyone's time, I hear you, Jim and Uncle Brad. I know you guys are very passionate, especially since this is in your community. I would be pissed off too. However, addressing this letter and being respectful to everyone's time, what did we want, Uncle Brad? What was your general intention for this letter? I feel like you want us, and correct me if I'm wrong, the AC of HCDP to ask Director DeRoe for to have a more stringent process, because it feels like it's just like, oh, Manuahi, like everybody's just free to do whatever they like. And if that is so, I personally, if I'm putting my name on it, I don't want it to seem like I'm just nitpicking on this one people, although I understand what you're saying. Like, I feel for you.
Well, like I said, it's not, well, what we, and the last letter, the last paragraph of the
Go up.
letter requests that, the planning department hold broader discussions and examination of the special permit process.
Okay.
And then also possibly well, actually does ask to include, other CDP action committees, because I think it's gonna be an island-wide issue.
Yes,
You
I
know,
agree.
and so
I
that's
agree.
the whole point,
Okay.
to bring more light to this issue, because we don't want these kinds of you know, discretionary permitting process to kind of
Right.
continue, and you know, same thing's gonna happen somewhere else.
Okay, so we're gonna ask the planning department for a more stringent process where all the ACs across Hawaii Island can be more involved. And then Meizu has something to share. I'm gonna just turn on the light.
I just wanted to say that it isn't an isolated case. We had a similar thing happen. Oh, sorry. It's not an isolated case. We had a situation in Papaloa where somebody from the mainland came and bought a piece of property, and he wanted to have helicopters land in his area and have some kind of tours with helicopters, which was going to cause a lot of noise and so on. And we were afraid that he would get permitted for it. So I think that one solution could be that the planning department identify neighbors around the properties that are being considered and get their input before they give the permit, so that there should be community involvement. Thanks.
Did I understand that this was a permanent permit? Was that something that was said? I would have presumed it was a yearly permit.
If the application was approved by the planning commission, the application would live with the land. The permit would run with the land. Yes.
So this guy has it in perpetuity then?
No, okay, so the current status of this specific application is that an application was received by the planning department, and then a contested case hearing was held.
Okay.
They found standing, and the hearing was held, and we're still waiting to hear the results from that hearing. And depending, the future of this kind of depends on what the hearings officer reports back and makes their decision.
Okay.
So there is a chance that this application could go back to planning commission, and then again it would be open up for public comment again and everything like that. But just to highlight that this is just an example, a more recent case, right? And special permits are applications come in from all over the district, and so this is kind of more of a general ask about the whole process, because this is a very discretionary kind of permit.
Okay.
And so, from my conversations with Uncle Brad, it's to hone in on what's weighing in on those decisions, because if you look at the background of the recommendation report, conditions, the director sets conditions for the applications, and then the planning commission reviews all of this, and then they could follow the director's recommendation, or they could make up their own conditions. The planning commission actually has a lot of liberty in this application type. Yeah.
Your personal opinion would be that the process at this point is fairly well served, especially with the planning commission reviewing what the director recommends. Is that the case? Or do you think that maybe there needs to be something looked into here?
Great question. I would say that as a planner, these recommendations, so maybe if I give a little bit more elaboration to the process, as I know it. I'm not a planner in the Planning Commission division, but from my understanding, these applications come in. These are time-sensitive applications. Planners have X amount of days, depending on the type of permit, to review the application and decide if it meets all the criteria to be accepted and put, kind of push forward on the timeline, or if it needs to be returned if they miss some questions or gave some blanks. Once accepted, then the planner will send the application out for agency comment. So any relevant agencies that they find that they want to hear from. So this is DPW, this is Department of Health, Water Supply, DOT, depending on where and where. And during that time, the planner is then working on the director's background and recommendation report. And as the agency comments come in, then the planner will work with the director to see what conditions might need to be made for this application, or if, in a more severe case, if a unfavorable recommendation needs to be made. But usually by then, we work with the agencies, the Department of Health, or Water Supply. We don't have water, but if you put catchment, then you can, build your house, kind of things, right? Those are, just to give a general example. But agency comments come from all over, and I would say that even throughout the process, there definitely are more, even there's a bit of discretion. And then I think as the CDPs are concerned and the action committees, a stance that I tend to take a lot is that any project that you propose, it could be the most glorious and perfect project, I can guarantee you there's a way to find inconsistency within the general plan or the community development plan. And it's not to shy away from that, in my opinion. It's to just acknowledge it and then state, like, what are the remediation efforts being put towards that inconsistency, or what are the reasons why to still push a project forward, even if it doesn't meet those 100% consistent with all our long-range documents. And I wouldn't say from experience that I know that happens all the time, that the projects get viewed under that lens, whereas they kind of just go off of what the agencies were, give back. And what
it probably doesn't, because they only have a short amount of time for it to turn around and only get so many planners.
Once the application is accepted, then the planners have it's a matter of several weeks to put together all of these things, and then it goes to planning commission, and then and then public testimony happens at that point too. And that's actually kind of a little bit influence how the action committees can participate in that process, because it's such a quick process. Right. And even if we met monthly, we wouldn't be able to keep up with ones that just kind of, we would miss some. So I think this letter opens up Pandora's box, and I always think it's good to reevaluate your systems. Planning department is currently starting out our zoning code update still, so that we're doing initial research with the consultants, and zoning code, subdivision code, all of these processes are in the middle of being reevaluated. And so at some point, this project would go out to the public to show what we've done so far and what the consultants and staff have come up with. But also these kinds of pieces would be helpful during these initial phases to keep in mind. Special permit processes are also, though, I believe, planning department rules, so a little different. But it's super discretionary, and so I think it's okay to ask, how did you decide this? And that's what the reports are supposed to be about. If you read the director's background report and the recommendation report, it's meant for him to address why he made these decisions. But sometimes the community might still have more questions.
Well, it almost sounds like it aligns with what Ton's been asking the planning department, like if anything in our section comes up as far as building, da 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 da, that be like sent our way, right? So we can review, we can see. Kind of seems like this aligns with that, and yeah, I think there should be like more eyes on this too, though, so this kind of stuff not happen.
It sounds to me like the planning department is actually being very, very thorough from what you've said, particularly at eventually going to the planning commission, even if the planning commission sometimes is more like a rubber stamp, still sounds like the process is very, I'm not sure how it could be improved over what you described there. But nonetheless, and like you said, it's entering a phase where it's all going to be reviewed anyway, and so my own sense is that I think actually what you described is that this sending in a letter like this would be fine as a reminder that there's a public out here that has concern about this, but it looks to me like those concerns are going to be addressed in the process as it exists. So it seems to me like we could go either way as far as this letter.
Yeah. Right. But I
Well,
feel
I
like
want
we
to add,
should
I'd
say-
like to add one more short comment. There is in the state land use classification system for agriculture, it does not allow camping. Okay. And so the planning director disagreed with the need. So if you want to do camping in the agriculture district in the state, then they recommend that you come in and go for a land use boundary adjustment, which would change the state classification, like say from agriculture to urban or rural. Okay. And so that's a very onerous process to go through the state process. But in this case, the planning director disagreed with it just because it's only a 4-day festival. And, so things are not aligned, county and I'm always an advocate for local control, but there's a reason that, we have those guidelines, and historically it's kind of a pain in the butt sometimes to align the state with the county stuff, but that's the whole process. That's part of the process. And so anyway, I don't particularly agree with the rigor, even though Mariam sort of pointed out, what that's up. But so that's just my having worked in the planning department and knowing the time constraints of numerous special permits coming in, and some are just minor, but then it is discretionary, at the discretion of the planning director, and the process of going having it recommended to the planning commission and then having it rubber stamped. They don't have time. They don't look at all of the the impacts, and in this case I think they missed the boat on just basic physical planning, where you have a heavy equipment rental yard that is not related to ag particularly, going through an area that has residential and ag uses and homes for farms. And so anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Miriam, do you think it was likely that the planning commission was informed that the regulations do not permit camping on ag land?
so through this process, I'll continue going through the process. So the planner puts together the background, the recommendation report, and once all agency comments have been received and it's time to go to Planning Commission, all of the documents that were sent in, all testimony, all agency comments, all of that is bundled up with the background and rec reports and sent to the planning commissioners.
Yeah.
They have, I believe, like usually around a week or so to review all these materials before their meeting. Many times they have more than one application. More often than not, they have several applications on the agenda at a time. And so yes, they were provided because I believe comments like what Uncle Brad has just mentioned, I believe the state provided similar comments. There were agencies that reached back and made note of those camping restrictions. And I believe even I did a skim for this specific application recently, so it was addressed, and it was addressed why the director chose to not follow that guidance.
I see.
Doesn't mean that there's not more questions that could be, clarified from it. But keep in mind, these packets can range from 150 to 300 plus. They're binders that show up for these commissioners. So it's and it's all given to them digitally nowadays, but we do keep a paper binder at the meeting. But does every commissioner go page by page and highlight and everything? I'm sure there's some great planning commissioners out there. Do they just, pick and choose sections that they read through?
I see.
More likely.
Yeah. Okay.
You have some
thank you.
testimony.
Will there be an opportunity for public comment and questions from us? That you know?
Up to you.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm your planning commissioner for North Hilo and Hāmākua,
Okay.
and I can't represent the planning department, but I can represent me, and that I'm doing, I was just appointed in November, and this particular special use, or I should say SMA permit, will be coming before us when the hearing officer completes her hearing and the report is submitted. So in the near future, there'll be a decision on this particular matter. But I'm telling everyone here that I read every page, every piece of information that comes from the planning department, I read it. And I'm a stickler with reports because I was a police officer. And every report I made went to my sergeant, the captain, the police chief, the prosecutor, and the judge. And those reports have to be exact. So if there's any questions by me, who I represent, everyone who lives in North Hilo and Hāmākua, believe me, I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to represent you guys and be fair. And you have to be fair, but you have to follow the law. There's laws, and before I became the planning commissioner, I had sat down with Harry Kim, Yu Ono, people that have a lot of experience with planning and development and zoning. And it takes a special commitment to do a job like this, a volunteer commitment like this, because I had the time. But if anyone has any questions, you can ask me after the meeting.
Okay.
And I appreciate this meeting. It's very informative. Thank you very much.
Meizu.
Well, these are all volunteers as well, so we thank you guys too, taking your time. Just a question, did you say there was public hearings on some of these, and was there one?
In order for them to get standing, they have to go to hearing. So there must have been a hearing, and then people came forward, and then it, yeah.
Are those generally announced then? How would people know? I mean, I wonder if Jim testified or at the public hearing.
Absolutely. So Planning Commission, all their hearings are posted at the county clerk office, and also they have an email listserv for both Leeward and Windward. So you can sign up for those just like how you sign up for our lovely email listserv on the county website. Yeah, and so they blast those out every time there's a meeting agendized. They will send out the notice, and it'll show you all the applications on their website. The planning department also on the planning commission website also keeps kind of like the more popular cases. They keep them as separate applications on their website, so you can click easy to go and check up and see the resources there also.
I mean, it sounds to me like the law was not followed in terms of the camping issue right here. So it doesn't seem like all the laws are followed, and the fact that you keep saying discretionary leaves the door open. So I really think this letter is great, and we need more information.
Are the residents surrounding the particular event, are they generally notified of hearing of the commission coming up?
Yeah, so residents get a letter from the planning commission giving them notice. Also, at the time the application is submitted, it is the responsibility of the applicant to give mail notice to a specific radius, depending on the
I see.
permit,
Yep.
to all neighbors.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay. Any more? All right. Does anyone wish to make a motion on this item?
I'd like to move that the letter that's been presented be forwarded, well, it's been presented to us, be sent as indicated to the addressee on the letter, which I believe was
Director
the,
Duro.
yeah.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Where's Miley? Did they? Okay.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously. Okay. Now we are moving to item number 3, letter of appreciation, Kauai Nui Makai acquisition. The AC will discuss and consider submitting a letter of appreciation to Na'aina Kai regarding the Ponk acquisition of Kauai Nui property. Any testifiers?
I could speak to that. The Kauai Nui property finished its acquisition process maybe, a couple of weeks ago. I had originally, maybe 2 months ago at our meeting, asked for permission to go ahead, and maybe that was 4 months ago, but asked for permission to go ahead and write a letter of appreciation to the owners of the property for selling that property to the county, probably at a sum that was considerably less than what they might have sold it to some private investors for. There were definitely private investors who had made offers for the property, and the county being able to only offer what its appraised value probably was at a disadvantage there. But I think that the owners of the property need to be realize that our committee is very much in appreciation, and I think the residents of Hāmākua will be in appreciation for the foreseeable future, for the respect for the Aina that this company, it's not Aina Kai Botanical Garden in Kauai, was the previous owners. So I've written a letter of appreciation, and I'm hoping that the committee would be acceptable, that we would go ahead and sign that. I don't know that it's necessary that I read it, unless you'd like to hear it. No.
It's just a mahalo letter.
Yes, it's a mahalo letter. Thank you. then I will present this to you and for signature, actually, because I was in communication with the owners
You
through.
can sign it.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
like to sign it
of
also.
course.
Yeah, thank you.
You can be the chair. I'm just-
No.
Okay.
Okay, we gotta make a motion for that.
Okay, I'd like to can I make the motion?
Sure.
Okay, I make a motion that a letter of appreciation to Na'inakai Botanical Garden Governing Board and Director Charles O'Neill be sent by this committee.
I second.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passed unanimously. Mahalo.
One thing, the nomination papers are on this table if anyone has any interest in, what the property is like, or you could take a look at that.
And, oh, go ahead, Uncle.
I have a question. Where is this, has the PUNC committee transferred its management option over to a specific group? Is it still in limbo yet?
No, the acquisition actually took place. It was finalized.
Okay.
Yeah, the county now owns that property, and the stewardship will go to the Makahanaloa Fishing Association. I believe there's approximately 150 members. The property is on the coast, down below the scenic route between Pepekeo and Papaiko. Very, very beautiful. A couple of tall waterfalls, large estuary.
Has the formality been completed yet?
Yes, it's all finished. Yep.
Good.
Okay, moving on to item number 4, letter of support for public access, open space and natural resources preservation commission, PUNC nominations. The AC will discuss and consider submitting letters of support for the following PUNC nominations: Hāmākua and Ka'awali Igoch in O'okala.
If I could address that again. So this is the same process. It's Public Access, Open Space, and Natural Resources Commission asks for nominations of property to be purchased by the county for preservation of, the open space, public access. And with the action that that commission took last year in presenting to the county the Kawainui property, having been successful with the acquisition, several of the members of our group who kind of led that process looked around and saw some other properties that we felt were important for acquisition by the county for the same purpose, preservation. And the two properties which are being nominated by our actually there's 3, and I'll tell you first because we only have 2 that we're sending letters of recommendation for. The first is a 40-acre property that's down below Haina here in the Haina, of course, below Hāmākua. And it's a 40-acre property on the coast, and it's been for sale for $2.4 million for the past year, but the property was, the price was dropped to $1.9 million very recently. It's important in the respect that, it's probably one of the main fishing sites on this coast. Again, we want to preserve that for the fishermen. It's important also because it offers access from the lower Cane Hall Road down to the ocean. So it bounds both the ocean and the lower Cane Hall Road. So if it was owned by the county, it would provide public access in that respect. And the third thing is that for a while, until the property was granted to William Rickard back in as a royal grant to William Rickard. So it has historic importance, but it also, at that time, was the site of a heiau called the Kaloa Heiau down on the coast here. And so after the plantation had used these lands for, a century, when the plantation closed, that heiau that land was subdivided into 7 or 8 private residential properties, 7 of which now do have residences on them. But this property does not have a residence, but the heiau got included in the property next to it. But nonetheless, the fact that, I think this property has historic importance also. So I would request that this committee give consideration of supporting a supporting letter for nomination. The second property that's being submitted for PONC nomination for county acquisition is the property on the beach and the bulk of the Kawali'i Gulch on the Mackay side of the loop of Highway 19 that goes through Kawali'i Gulch. And, in this case, it does have a good deal of historic significance, and as could be found in these papers that I've put over here on this desk. And it has importance as far as access of the public, and especially fishermen, and particularly spear fishermen is what I'm given to understand in that particular site. And consequently, it's for sale. There's a spectacular house that's been built approximately, I guess 30 years ago, I would guess, on the cliff there. And that's a complicating factor for a nomination such as this, I would believe. But nonetheless, the importance of that land is really in the gulch itself. And the price is $3.2 million, I believe. And there is a third property which has been nominated, this one by the Kanakaole Foundation, and it is, I believe, close to, I don't know, someplace between 10 and 20 acres that's down immediately on the side of Hakalau, the village, as you go down. Well, it's on the Hilo side of the Hakalau village there. And it has coastal access, certainly more than these properties up here, or the Haina property. But we would like all the 2 properties that we have requests for are the Haina Mackay property and the Kawali'i Gulch property. Are there any questions or comments?
Who's selling the property?
The one down here is 2 ladies that live in California. And I believe they've owned it for approximately 10 years or so and have not put.
Because that's Crown lands.
Um,
That's ceded lands. The one that was given to Rickard is the one that you're talking about,
Yeah,
correct?
right.
Yeah,
I
so
believe
that's
so.
ceded lands. How did it get sold? That's-
I'd be very interested in you
So,
kind of
well,
seeing the picture that you
I'm-
see, because I don't know.
I'm very supportive in having the punk do this, but says one of the family wants to come, is the punk gonna give it up to the family? Because these are all LCA award lands.
Oh, you know, very interestingly, there have been a number of letters of support submitted for this, and the Hāmākua High School was very interested in having this as one of their perhaps teaching opportunities, hands-on kind of teaching opportunities. The intention of the Haina land would be to develop a food forest and native reforestation. The food forest kind of in the design of what's going on with Huimau in Pauilo.
Right. Which is awesome.
yeah,
I
right.
totally agree that it's awesome, but at
Yeah.
the same time,
No.
this is another way that the state takes lands away from Kanaka. This is
Yeah.
their rightful land. So if family
Yeah.
comes and they're like, hey, this is my Ohana land, is the county gonna be like, oh no, but we bought it?
Yeah.
Even though it was taken illegally from the family, because these are all ceded land. So I'm thinking that the plantation probably sold it to so-and-so, who sold it to so-and-so, who sold it to so-and-so,
I agree.
who these ladies ended up with. I just want to know the process, because I feel like we should be, I love the idea, because the youth center was a part of that too.
Yeah, right.
I don't like the taking of the land from Kanaka.
Yeah.
That's my biggest frustration, because the county's gonna come in and personally, like with what they did in to Waipio, right? They're doing an audit of what was happening at Kwa Ikea.
Oh,
You know, after the caretaking of so long, so you know, county
Right,
still
right.
has the jurisdiction, and in the county's eyes, they weren't allowed to let anybody go onto that property without them being there, because the county is saying we're liable. So I think working with the kids and working with the youth center and whoever doing food for us is awesome. But again, it's government taking away Aina from Kanaka.
Yep.
And that's,
You know, there's a remarkable coincidence.
huh? Okay. Oh, sorry. Maile.
Yeah. Oh,
Mahalo, Madam Chair. I just kind of wanted to echo what Maya is saying too. We do have another instance at Kokomoli where we have royal patent lands that
Yeah.
are currently in dispute. So very important. Like I echo your sentiments. I love the idea of education, food forests. We need food security here at home in Hawaii. But
Sorry,
very
you're cutting out,
important-
Mila. If you can turn off your camera, and then maybe we can hear you more clear.
Better? Is that a little bit better?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So just echoing the Madam Chair's sentiments. Love education. We absolutely need food security here on our home island. But we do need to walk a very careful line when it comes to royal patent trees. But we're going to put ourselves in these sticky situations where we get involved in other people's kuleana. Just my monologue.
this is actually a remarkable coincidence that you bring this up, in that one of the strongest supporters of this nomination is the Heritage Center. And they were considering, every nomination like this needs to assign a steward of the property. And the Heritage Center was giving real consideration about being at least one of the stewards of this property. And on the board of the Heritage Center is the grandson of William Rickard. So there's a sense in which he is, in a sense, almost an heir, you know? I mean, I totally
Well,
respect
I'm
what you're saying.
Carl's descendant of Rickard also.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, amazing.
I'm just like,
Yeah, right.
it's
Touches.
hurtful
Yeah.
to,
right.
you know, to see that family land is being taken away. Because this
Yeah.
happens, you know,
Yeah. Over
people
and over.
who not here, they buy it.
Yeah.
They don't know any better, right? Somebody
Yeah.
gave them like, hey, you can have this beautiful land. But where do we hold the county and state accountable?
Yeah.
So I would love to have not someone who's from the area to malama that, but at the same time, if family comes up and they're like, hey, we wanna, you know, what's the county gonna say? No, we paid $3 million for it, so you gotta pay us back.
Yeah. Very,
I know, it's
very, very
I'm
interesting.
like here, I'm on the fence, I'm straddling, like I'm supportive of the idea, but I'm not supportive of the taking of the land from Kanaka. But if that's what we gotta do to preserve it, I would like to see how the county goes through all of this and how they hold those properties accountable. Who's to say that come down the line that they're not gonna be tempted by $10 million to purchase that property?
Yeah. You know, you're central to the youth center, and Mr. Rickard, who lives in Honolulu, is central in some sense to the Heritage Center. It would be extremely appropriate if the two of you could be kind of together on what shall be done with this property.
Yeah, that's just my mono.
I wonder if, though, we could have a letter of support for both of these properties, both the Hāmākua and the Kawali'i Gulch properties. I would, what is that? I'd like to move that the Action Committee submit a letter of support for both of these property acquisitions. No, for the nomination to the Ponk Commission.
A gentle reminder to the committee that while there's drafted examples today that Dr. Kinney did, you can always make amendments if you want to add in a little piece of what you guys are feeling would fit in there. And then planning will work to finalize and include those amendments before sending out for signature.
Okay.
That's also an option.
I did.
Yeah. Go
Sorry.
ahead, Mene.
No, I had another question, but do I wait for the second before we open up for discussion? Or just ask the question?
I'm brand new, so I'm deferring to.
Me too, girl. Okay. Question is, within the nominations, there is the statement of Heiau, and I know Mr. Kinney did speak to it. I just wanted to know if there was any plans for restoration of Heiau, or if that sits on an outside property. Is that within the parcel that the
Heiau?
Oh, the Heiau. The Heiau was actually identified on the two maps. There's two maps in the nomination papers that identify the Heiau. Those maps are from 1870 and 1880. And, you know, we had actually presented the question of there being a Heiau at that some spot below Hāmākua to the Na'alahele representative from DLNR. And after 3 days of presenting the question, he called us back and said, yes, you know, he had found a couple of maps that showed this Heiau down there. And so following that, we had the state historic State Historic, what is it?
Shipley.
Yeah. Go down and take a look. They could find no remnants of Heiau. And consequently, I'd have to say that those remnants had been
Pushed over by the
yeah.
plantation.
Right, I
Like
believe
the
so.
other ones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that was my ask, because within
Yeah.
the letter I did see has now vanished, and I was like, oh, it just vanished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
It's
didn't know
gone.
if there was any restoration efforts or not. That is all. Mahalo.
No, thank you.
Okay. Uncle Bobby, Uncle Brad, you guys have any comments? Or would you guys like to second?
Well, I guess I would agree with what Mariam suggested. So I don't know, Ton, if you want to confer with Mahelani and come up with a little thing about reservation regarding the because I'm all for the preservation. Get it out of the capitalist commodity market and preserve it, and then but also recognize the Kanaka Maoli perspective in terms of that. So I don't know how you would word that, but that's what I would support. I don't know if it diminishes the Punk nomination, but I would hope not.
When does
Yeah.
this have to be submitted?
The end of January.
Oh, last week?
Yeah. But they accept nomination, they accept letters of recommendation
Okay.
after the deadline, yeah.
By Friday, you and I can meet, like tomorrow or Friday?
Yeah,
Okay.
we
Yeah.
could do that,
Okay.
yeah. I'd
So
be happy.
then I think the committee motion would be to allow the two of you to add in that language, unless you want it to come back, but so that it doesn't come back to that the two of you are adding that language, and that the committee is okay with the language that you guys are providing, considering that it's aligned with that kind of idea of adding in.
Yes. Okay.
The question would come up then, of course, well, if the owners of the property proceed to sell it to a private individual,
Which
what-
would be worse?
yeah, well, not, I mean, is there any recourse of that private individual? They've bought the property. Is there any recourse of the rightful, in a sense, owners who would go back to descendants of William Record? There is recourse or not? There is. Is it legal in the sense of,
They would have to go legally, yeah.
yeah,
LCA awards and do all that stuff. So,
yeah. Well, that makes it, yeah, let's look at this
Yeah.
and come up with some kind of a position.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, are we going to vote on that?
Yes, okay. The motion is for the, Ton and I to work on language that is appropriate, that we can agree on to move this forward, so for the recommendation for Punk stewardship or nomination. Yeah?
Okay.
Hey, aloha. Ikalamai. I'm signed that under my girlfriend's name, but my name is Melvin Glenn Mason Jr. I grew up there. I was born in Honoka'a. And I know I worked also in Hāmākua Sugar in the plantation. The thing is, if you guys are going to recommend for the county, it's also putting the county in a legal issue. And the reason why is because I've been through court cases with Alodoro patents that my family had gotten since the 1800s in the Great Mahele. When my father passed away, he actually stayed on Banakea with Umi, who I descend from and grew up in Waipio Valley. The legal ramifications on the county, yes, would be great in the county's hands, but there's going to be legal ramifications with if the heir stands forth to come for the land. They have the right to, and the caveats that is inside of the title work will show, and especially as Dr. Kini knows who I am. He was my doctor when I was a little kid. So, and the thing that for me, I was kind of holding back, but I think that, you know, the county moving to even purchasing it would put the county into a legal issue. So what you guys should do is defer it and talk to your corporate counsel, because it's going to be on future eventually thing, because there's a lot of lands. And you look, perfect example, Zuckerberg. You know, the quick claim, the quiet claims, the quit claims is unwarrantable deeds. So therefore, in Black's law, it states, I'm not a lawyer, attorney. I've been through the situation. In fact, when the plantation had bankrupted, my mom, my dad got called into the court and all the way to the federal level. And with the Haina, my parents actually turned down $57 million for Haina, which is technically named Namoku. And how the lands was in the hands of the plantation was because of who my great grandma Kaimina Uau, the sister of the Queen Liliuokalani King Kalakaua. When Princess Kaiulani used to go to Waipio, Prince Kuhio was actually visiting their favorite aunt, and she was part of with the T.O.H. Davies, and that's how the T.O.H. Davies, especially also like the Pa'auhau mill that came from Mr. Matson, the Swedish guy that came and which became like Matson ships and all that stuff, where he used to come and dock over there. I've been down there. Also, no more just heiaus down there. Get also old Japanese and Portuguese graveyards down there. When the avalanche would happen, even from the plantation time, I was one of them when I was working. I was a teenager to go up and go clean the graves. But that's the hardship was a lot of the graves that the head was pushed over. But a lot of Hawaiians not coming forth because like they get all these Hawaiian homes thing going on. But technically, with all literal patents, and that's way before the Great Mahele. When my father passed away, I had inherited certified copies of the Great Mahele. I put them in the hands of the churches, and the reason why is because I knew how dangerous it is, and it would conform, especially if in the law and with titling and lands, because technically we all don't really own the land, no matter what title we hold. A county actually holds the whole, because if you try not, stop paying taxes, it's because the county of Hawaii is tied to the kingdom. It's a collection agency, not just the agency of government, but the agency of the land tenureship from really the commutation taxes. So what's fourth in this situation, I think that the standardization of a lot of these lands realizations, it's, it'll behoove the county to kind of get involved. But, I think that, yes, Dr. King, you said earlier, it's better that be in the county's hands than, or even put it in conservation to conserve. The technicalities of the old maps and stuff, yeah, it's all coming out because of, things like going on in Oahu with corruption and things, and a lot of this information coming out. There is a lot of families who actually hold maps with a lot of the places. And yeah, because a lot of the heiaus, when Christianity had come in the 1800s, a lot of the heiaus was condemned. So when the morals of that had changed, even when the kingdom of the Hawaiian Islands was built, it was actually built from Christian morals, values, and principles. So the fact that where it's at right now, especially with the titling, there's still court cases happening, but it's just because the heirs are stepping forward, they're learning. But again, it's the sad part is that people who worked hard and made their money that's been buying these lands, even through the caveats, because you look at the title work, people don't read the title work. The longest title company is actually Title Guarantee, and you know what? They don't really guarantee the title. It's just an insurance policy. Because all they do is you check the genealogy and they check who's still alive, who's the threat to come forth, to the claim. Therefore, for me, that's why too, and I get the great man because I have family mixed, not even just Native Hawaiian. I'm not too, pure too. I'm part white too. And the Stevens, actually, I'm also the great grandson of Julia Stevens, who was also the guy that Stevens over Hawaii.
Would you be able to give us your
back then.
Um,
My recommendation
contact information. Do we have contact?
Direct cell number 808-896-0155. And the reason why I mentioned this is because when I was in high school, we was in a meeting when Plantation went go bankrupt, and the meeting ended up closing with corporate counsel because the title issue, because Hāmākua Sugar, Mr. Morgan then when gave the lands that they owed like tax from, and they gave the lands that was leased it over because they occupied it over 20 years. They did what do you call it, adverse possession, and then but because they still never had the clear title yet, they pushed that forward, and they gave that to the county, and the county ended up had to give the land back. So the energy guys that is on the other side, they actually doing quit claim title to get the lands for build a power plant over there, not on the plant, Hāmākua Sugar lands that's still there. So the technicality of what they're doing to in a lot of the land issues is a lot of people are putting, not just in trusts, but also in companies and corporations and LLCs. So
Thank you,
therefore,
Mel. Oh, thank you.
My thing is, the county can buy, but the caveat to a buyer beware. It's
Yeah.
important. So
Mahalo. Mahalo for sharing all that, Mana'o. I love listening to you when you share. Ahoy ho. So we have a motion? Uncle Brad did. Are those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, passed. Okay, now we're on item number 5. We have 15 more minutes. Okay. Proposed Ninole Community Hub, TMK 3-2-003-006. The AC will discuss the proposed Ninole Community Hub and consider submitting a letter of support. Discussion will include additional information provided by Christy Toledo.
Okay, I just want to start off before Christy does her presentation to remind the committee what an agenda item like this means for the committee, right? So, and a reminder to the audience to let you guys know. So, at the last meeting, Ms. Christy Toledo came and presented a conceptual plan that she has for a property in Ninole, her property. This is a conceptual project plan, and so we put it on the agenda for this meeting to hear more to come. She has not submitted an application to the planning department. This is very early stages. That also means that there is no application to review, okay? And as a reminder to everybody, the CDP action committees, we are not an approving decision-making body, we are advisory. Any vote or action we take must be rooted in our community development plan document. This is especially important for applications that we're giving comment on. We also can't, it's just not in our nature to give quote-unquote letters of support. One, because it becomes confusing and misleading to the general public, but also because our scope is more so to represent our CDP document. So when projects come onto our agenda, and our duty is to speak from our CDP document and to show consistencies and inconsistencies. Since in the past few years, the action committees have been on a little bit of a roll, and we're getting a little bit more attention from, and especially developers. So this past year is the first year we're starting to get developers wanting to come to our committees to do this. I kind of consider it a pre-consult discussion with their committees. And so this is basically the same guidance that's been given to all the committees when this happens. This letter, I strongly recommend that you start off this letter by, if you decide to write this letter and vote on it, is that you give an excerpt of what was presented to you. Because what is presented to you today might change once the application is received by the planning department.
Right.
And then your duty is to, based off of what was presented to you, look into your document and to find policies that are consistent and inconsistent with the project. You can provide remediation efforts for those inconsistencies. You can provide other wish list items that from this conversation that you hope that the applicant includes in their application. You can commend them on the consistencies that they're going to be having with your document. And like I said earlier tonight, every project will have consistencies and inconsistencies. And that's okay. And the goal of having developers on the agenda or pre-applicants on the agenda before they've even submitted a plan is to give them this opportunity to start anticipating what the community wants and needs and what's kind of temp check, and to see if some of those ideas that the committee or can be adopted into their actual application that gets submitted. So that's kind of the goal when this happens, and when there's no actual plan to review, just to keep that in consideration. Uncle Brad, I believe, drafted a letter already. It definitely notes some policies, but I highly recommend some restructuring to it to kind of follow the format that I just explained. The letter will be addressed to the applicant, not to the planning department, because there is no application. And in theory, the applicant will have this letter to show when they do submit their application and can attach it and kind of can carry with the application as it goes through the process. That way, and depending on, it depends on the project, but then it can show, what the applicant already kind of did or didn't do, and then it kind of goes from there on. Okay. This is, once there's an application and it's a discretionary type of permit or whatever application that's going to planning commission, you can always give testimony on your own personal behalf. Any personal thoughts that aren't to really be included in this type of letter. This is only what is already existing in your document. An example I say is somebody saying they're going to build an ice house, and the community loves the idea of having more ice, that they're not going to run out of ice on the weekends to go fishing and camping is great. Unless the document specifically said, our district wants more ice houses across the district, then you can't really put that verbatim into your letter. What you could probably find is like some sort of economic development or supporting fishermen kind of lingo to throw in there, but you can't be like, we love this project, we need it, we want ice houses. That's not allowable for your letter. It's not right. So just to put your kind of like CDP hats on when you're listening to this presentation, to be mindful of your role. Okay, we have 10 minutes to hear the new presentation. Sorry,
Chrissy, can I give you like 7 minutes? And then we can do questions for 2 minutes. And then I have one important thing that we got to do before we end the meeting. That's why. I'm going to shut off the lights again, just so we can see better. Okay, go.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you. I'll just keep it as short as I can. Last when we met, I discussed my connection to this project. My family is 7 generations deep into this property. It was once a commercial hub for the Ninoli Papaloa community. Time went on, plantation closed, community moved out, there was no need. Our community is now back up and needing these types of services. So the property is located in Ninoli and Papaloa. It's currently zoned ag. We see a need for services such as fueling stations, convenience store, commercial kitchens to support ag business, even things such as water and ice provided there, propane. It could provide emergency necessities if, say, there's a landslide in the gulch or some kind of highway blockage. But mainly our plan for this is to support our community. And this is why I came to the committee first, to get the feedback from the community before moving to the other directions. I've worked with Heather on this as well, and she's talking about the change to the general plan. And so with getting the community support in that, that's going to help make those things possible as well, to get this into a commercial zoned area, which it once was before. You know, this property is going to provide support to agriculture, to the local community. And so to keep it short, I'm here for support for that. I did speak to the neighboring people of the property, one which is myself, but also the other ones are immediate location to it. And they have provided letters of support, which I have submitted. And then any questions that you had or follow up to acquiring your letter of support, I'm here to answer any questions for that. And even some of the things we're hearing tonight with the roller coaster ride of a highway that we have, there's less road to travel. If there's services in Ninole, we can certainly put a shelter there for people waiting for the bus, those types of things too. So there's an opportunity for all those needs to address with this property as well. So this presentation is just a rough, you know, like she was saying, it's a conceptual at this point, but very much a need from what I see being a part of that community as well. And as it's been, you know, a value in my family for the over 100 years we've been out there, we want to be a support to the community. And so using this property to do that is not only a blessing, but I also feel a responsibility.
Okay, I can turn on the lights now.
So this property needs a zoning change. Is that,
Correct.
I believe that's correct. Is Heather going to proceed with proposing that zoning change to, I'm not sure who she proposes that to. Is that to the planning department?
Yeah, and we've spoken to Jeff Darrow too, and so where Heather's part is in the general plan and expanding that out a little bit further to allow for more commercial zoning in the area.
A rezone application would have to be submitted, right? And
It goes through, yeah, rezoning application is what that is. Okay.
Yeah, give it, oh, okay. Does that work even? Oh, okay, yeah. Given that you say that the letters of support should go to the applicant, I'm just wondering what your address is and whether other community groups, like we have a neighborhood association and would love to support this, do we just write a letter of support to the applicant? And if so, Christy, I would love to get your address and how to address it.
Thank you, sure.
Do you want to say it right now? Do you want to say it right now?
She wants to write you a letter of support, so she's asking for your address.
Okay, I can provide that. Is it the PO Box 44, Ninole, 96773?
96773?
Yeah.
It's a little tiny post office,
I know.
but I do have a box there.
It is a postage stamp post office.
Could you please provide us a picture on that area so we have complete idea of what's going on? Thank you.
Hey, Mariam, I have a question. You know, since this is just a GP amendment, and it wouldn't be, you know, like to kind of set the stage for zoning from ag to commercial, right? Would it just be would it be the rural designation or would it be the urban designation? Because it's not a rezone. It's just on the GP guidance, land use, LUPAG. Is that correct?
Let me
You got her thinking now.
let me pull up the property.
Because if you look at the CDP, we had it rural because we were trying to that we used that to kind of set the kind of boundaries of the urban growth area in the
Yeah,
little
so that's
towns
the
and villages.
expansion that Heather's working to get, is expanding that area in the
Yeah, no,
plan.
but I'm just getting more technical because the GP does not say commercial. It just says urban, which could be neighborhood commercial. And I'm assuming you're doing more like a rural neighborhood kind of commercial,
So the current GP, the 2005, has the parcel mostly as important ag land with the corner of open.
hmm So to move from that to something that will be allowing commercial would be to what? Urban, rural, what?
Let's see what the I would have to.
I would think it'd be
Yeah, there are several commercial properties just a short distance from where mine is. So there used to be a gas station.
Hey,
Auto body was there.
Janice, if you're listen, do you recall what the? Because I know they changed the labels for the 2045.
right.
I'm gonna try and pull up Conveo now, but
Mariam, I can pull it up. Can you send me the TMK?
yeah, I'm gonna just.
Okay.
We'll send it over.
Three two 0030006.
What's the gentleman that was speaking before? Was that Ken Okamoto? Who was it? Was that Marvin Mason? Oh, Melvin Mason. Oh, okay. Just write his name.
No, yeah, I.
Are we waiting on?
Yeah, sorry, we're all pulling it up.
Oh. Can I jump to number 5 while we're waiting for that then? Okay. Or number 6? Chrissy, we're just gonna put you on pause while they bring up that on their end. Okay, only because I want this to happen. Okay, so number 6, we have election of vice chair, discussion and potential action to elect a vice chair for Hāmākua CDP Action Committee for 2026. Does anyone wish to make a vice chair nomination? Self-nominations are allowed. Encouraged. Well, I'm just gonna, can we, like, I'm gonna nominate Maile.
Somebody sent out the rumor mill. What happened? Yeah, I'm happy to support the commission however I can.
Well, she says she cannot. Is she not accepting? Is that what she said? She
Sorry,
said
can
that I
you guys hear
cannot.
me better
Yes.
when I turn off the camera? Okay. Um, Aloha, Chair, Commissioners. Um, I know this is my first meeting with you folks. I do come with a wealth of experience within the UH systems as a student senator. I've been on several other boards as well. I was asked this by the planning department if I would be interested in the vice chair nomination. So I gladly accept.
Yay! Oh, wait, we gotta, okay. Um, I second. That, who's making the motion?
I
You
make the
did.
motion. Oh, yeah.
Oh
you
yeah,
did.
hello. Well, I cannot second my own. See, I'm so excited. I
second.
have another girl on the committee.
I second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously. And we have a co-chair. Welcome, co-chair Maile Lavia Malloy. Mahalo, T.
Mahalo.
Okay.
Okay,
Are
going
we there?
back to
Yes,
the Ninola
we're going back to
properties.
number 5.
So
and
if we're
we
looking
have-
at the new 2045 general plan, the new GP designations that there's no clear guidance for gas stations, but the options that I'm seeing that I would have to look more into to give you like a more proper response, but would be something like either like medium density urban or light industrial, heavy industrial, one of those kinds of options. Some of these high density urban, medium density urban, and low density urban, some of those include some light industrial uses, so that could be an option, or it would be in those other industrials. So one of those urban or industrial kind of uses is what you would be looking at if you wanted for a proposal to go through the county council, considering GP is currently sitting there now. But that's after a quick search. I mean,
Okay. Do you need more time to research that and you get back to us and we do?
I can look into it more if that's what the committee wants, for sure.
Okay, committee, what do you guys want?
Well, like I'm reviewing, the presentation that's in the meeting packet.
Yes.
So I definitely support it, for small, low scale, kind of rural, not, development community hub. And so that's why I'm asking Mariam for, what the recommended GP to support that effort. And then hopefully someone else can take maybe Mariam, you can work with Christy and then to sort of kind of highlight and, consolidate what she's presented, in that packet to be consistent with, what the intention is, letter of support for that conceptual idea, because it's not even a physical plan. It's just a, concept narrative. Right? And that's how I see it anyway. That's what you're saying.
Something we've kind of done for the previous committees is ask the applicant to come up with that research and to present it to the committee. That's kind of what happened in Ka'u with the other developer. And if Christy wants our support in that, we're definitely available.
Yeah, I know there was that Kurihara gas station that was there in that area before as well. So these things have been in this area historically, previously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, Nishimoto store.
So you can
was
reach out to
there.
us at cdp@hawaiicounty.gov. We'll put it in the chat also. But also, no, you've been emailing us there. So you just reach out to us there, and then we'll coordinate. Oh, what did I do? Yeah, but it's not screen sharing. It's just us. There we go.
There we go. Okay. Do we need a motion? Okay. Oh, I'm all excited now. Okay. We asked for public, we asked for this? We don't actually have time, so I'm not going to ask. Can I not ask? Do I have to ask or, okay. Okay, announcement. The planning department is seeking applicants for Hāmākua CDP. If you guys want to join us. Action committee and request assistance to get the word out to interested community members. The application can be found on the mayor's office website. Okay. Do any of the committee members or staff have any other announcements to make? Okay. I will now adjourn the meeting. The time is 7:08 p.m. Mahalo everybody for coming.